Martin and welcome to another great edition of MP Astro. Now in this video I like to share my experience, and I'm going to be testing out a particular setup that I've just devised. Now as you remember is that here's an example of a trash telescope. A lot of people, particularly Christmas and after the New Year, don't get me wrong, a telescope like this Maxtov 180 is second hand, but it's still expensive, and we're talking around about 600 quid for the main tube, second hand. It's usually around about £800 for the brand new tube for the Maxtov 180, and the mount is another further top of 500 to 600 pounds. That's already £1,000 over the budget for most people. Now I truly get a lot of first time users or people starting out will be looking at a lot of websites and they'll see a very attractive telescope like this one, and you're looking at the price and go, wow, look at this. Now please, whatever you do, whatever you consider, please do not buy anything that you're unsure of. Even though it looks good and appealing and very cheap in cost, please avoid at all costs. Now the reason why I'm saying this is, like, if you've not seen part 1 and 2, please check those videos out. I have already tested out this telescope, right, and I've kept this telescope because it's a perfect example of a cheap trash telescope. Alright, and the first thing I would do, and I've seen it all before, I've seen kids have just got this for Christmas, a telescope for Christmas, and they start playing with it, and the first thing it does, right, what most people, when they first use it, they'll get very disappointed. And then this happens. And as you can see, that telescope, the views are very bad on it, cheap wobbly mounts, things break on it, the optics are poor, and that's what happens. It either collects dust, or the first thing, if it breaks or whatever, it goes straight into the bin. And probably is the best way for a cheap trash telescope to be in is the bin, because believe it or not, I have bought cheap trash telescopes over the years and not one of them are any good, right? Please, guys and girls, please shop safely. I know there's a lot of guys and people on a very limited budget. I totally get where you guys are coming from, okay? I really appreciate that astronomy is expensive, telescopes are expensive. However, all is not lost. And in this video, I like to share a true passion. When I first started out in astronomy, the best solution, if you're on extreme budget, and I mean we're talking £70 or under, all right, you think that is not possible. I cannot afford that kind of price. But believe me, if you shop around, do a bit of research, you can find incredible bargains. Okay, it might not be a telescope like this, but you must consider a set of these. Now you'll be thinking, guys and girls, well, that's not a telescope. Well, actually, a pair of binoculars is actually a telescope, because all it is a refractor which is folded in with prisms, okay? And you've got two objective lenses there, all right, that focus on both eyes. Now, I'm not going to go too much in detail on binoculars, but the first consideration, if you ever want to start astronomy, I would seriously highly recommend that you must buy yourself a pair of binoculars. And the good thing is that they're strong, they're robust, they're cheap. you can buy these second hand, right? And there are some websites that I've seen a set of 10 by 50 binoculars for like £20 or less. And believe me, sounds hard to imagine, but believe me, these are going to show a lot more than a cheap trash telescope. Okay, it's not got a mount, but I will show you an example in this video. We're going to mount this and we're going to test these out to prove to you guys and girls that binoculars are the way forward. If you want to start out astronomy, binoculars are the way to go. Alright, and even when I was a child, I was 8 years old, my first telescope was these, without a doubt. Alright, and it was the best bang for the buck. And believe me, when you're first starting out astronomy, these are very easy to use. You can just use a star map, scan the skies and find objects. So, in this video, I'm going to take you through my adventures with these binoculars, alright, and prove to you guys and girls what you can see. Alright, and believe me, when you see for the first time what these set of binoculars can deliver, you will be very impressed. End of this video, I guarantee you. Now, they've worked out the budget that you can buy these for 20 quid or less, right? They don't need to be a name brand binoculars, but I've gone through a series of products that I think you can do for yourself. You can set this up yourself, right, and have your own extreme budget binocular set, okay? So you can follow this video. I'll provide links of the products I've used to get these binoculars rolling, right, for stargazing. Alright, and binoculars, right, for extreme budget, I've worked out just under £70, okay? And believe me, I will take you through my adventure with these binoculars and prove to you guys and girls what you can achieve with just basic equipment as this. And believe me, cheap trash telescopes will never beat these binoculars, okay? Right, these are optically sound, they have much better glass, and they're easy to use. And with the products I will take you through, please use this video. Alright, if you want to start out and you're on an extreme budget, alright, please utilize this video, because this will show you guys and girls what these can do. Alright, do not underestimate binoculars. And if I was a first time buyer or I'm wishing to buy a kid a telescope, to be honest with you, I would scrap that cheap trash telescope business. Okay, if you've got a budget of 70, even with a budget of £100 for a telescope, maybe you can get a decent sort of telescope for £100. But anything less, then to be honest with you, a telescope is not the way ahead. Right, believe me, £70 is really pushing it, but at least with £70, at least you can have a decent set of binoculars, right, and some equipment to mount it on, which will deliver a lot better views, and you're going to see more detail with a set of these, believe me. And the good thing is, if the child loses interest for whatever reason, okay, and he or she doesn't really want to undertake astronomy, you're not wasting your money, because believe me, binoculars are a universal device. You can use them for bird watching, you can use them for loads of things, okay, and you're not wasting your money, okay? So binoculars last a lifetime if looked after, and believe me, the optics on this, alright, these are literally coming to about 14 years old, right? They are very old binoculars, but they're like new, and they have been delivering some awesome images throughout my astronomy pastime, okay? And I have 30 odd years of experience in astronomy, and believe me, these I still use today, alright? Still use these binoculars today, alright? And they're a best bang for any person who has an extreme limited budget. And I totally get you guys and girls I haven't forgot you guys, alright? It's not all about expensive equipment, alright? Sorting out with the best budget equipment is key for you guys and girls to have a keen interest into astronomy. And this is what this video is all about. Sharing my passion to you, to everyone out there, and what I strongly believe, which I think a set of these will help to encourage newcomers into astronomy, and they'll get to see the real stuff. And this is what this video is all about, is showing you guys and girls what these can do, alright, and what you can see in the night sky. Before we start, please hit the like button, alright, and again, if you've not visited my channel, please subscribe onto the channel. Please share this video out as well, guys and girls, alright. Please share, because there's a lot of information here that will guarantee to help someone else out who are on an extreme budget, alright, and this video will help a lot of people out tremendously. So, and again, don't forget to share it and hit the bell. So, if you want to find out what I've done so far, keep watching and let's do this. So, we take a closer look on the binoculars itself. Here they are. Usually get them in a case, and you've got like dust covers that covers the objective lens. Alright, what you're looking for a set of binoculars is a good 10 by 50 power. The 10 means the 10 magnification, and the 50 means the objective lens of the binoculars. And as what we're looking at is, with a decent pair of binoculars, you've got good coatings like these, alright, and the coatings from the eyepiece as well. Now they come in various sizes. I'm not going to go too much in depth, but believe me, I have seen some binoculars for £20 or less, and I'm not just joking, right? These are very cheap, widely available. You can get them on eBay, you name it, they're all around. But the biggest problem with these is that you've got to hold them with both your hands, and particularly if you're looking up in the night sky, these can be a bit awkward. So I'm not going to go too much detail on these. However, I've been searching online and I found a possible solution where you can mount these binoculars on a decent tripod. Now, here's a decent tripod that I've got here. Okay, now you can purchase this tripod from Rother Valley Optics, and this is the Fotomate VT 5006. Now, this is a medium duty tripod. It is suitable for video cameras and DSLRs, but also can be used for spotting telescopes and binoculars. And again, this costs £36 brand new. It's an all aluminium construction tripod, and this is a very sturdy tripod for the price. And believe me, I've seen a lot of cheap tripods, but this is a cheap tripod, but it's also very good quality as well. The tripod weighs around almost 2 kilograms. Okay, so it's all aluminium and it's ABS plastic components as well. Alright, now it can extend from 156 centimeters with the 3-section tripod legs. You can extend the legs out, and you can also extend the column out as well. Alright, so it will reach up to 156 centimeters, and it fold in to the height of 61 centimeters. Okay, so as well as being lightweight and robust, it's also can extend quite a bit as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through the tripod setup itself. So we're going to show you the setup. So the tripod here has these clip-on legs that are locked together. They have spikes at the end, which these legs can also adjust, but you can extend them out like so to maximum if you wish, Alright, so easy. You take them all the way out, like so. The clamping force on these are good. I wouldn't say they're awesome, but they do clamp quite well. And then you extend it out, like so. As you can see, it's already quite high up. So, we take a closer look on the tripod itself. Now, as you can see, there's the clips. They're quite robust. Alright, they clamp okay. I'm not saying they're absolutely awesome. They could be a bit better. But they do clip in and they do hold the tripod in place. I do like there's a lock screw here. They can lock the legs that way. Okay, so evenly spaces out the weight. Also, we take a closer look on the pan tilt. There is a lock screw where you can lock the position, the tension on the this part here. So if you loosen this part, this knob, there was one cool feature on this pan tilt, and it's got a gear type handle where you can move it all the way up, and this will reach up to 156 centimeters. Okay, now as you notice, it's on a ratchet and pull, and this actually spins down. So you wind it up like so, and you can then lock this in position. Also, there is a tension as well. So if it drops like so, okay, like it's just doing, you can twist this handle and it adjusts the tension on this gear rail. Okay, so there's two methods of locking. So you can lock it from here and you can lock it from here. Very handy feature, particularly if you've got a set of binoculars and you're looking at objects that are way high up in the sky. So if you're looking at something, okay, if you're looking at something that's way up there, you know, this gives you the bit of room so you can look through your binoculars that way. Now, as you just noticed here on the pan tilt itself, there's a slight flaw, and to be honest with you, I only just noticed that. And the trouble is though, this is the lock screw for the rotational of the pan tilt. Now the head is designed to tilt at 90 degrees and around 50 degrees looking down. So it can rotate to 360 degrees, like so. Alright, it is a bit stiff, but it's meant to be stiff. And with this lock screw being in the way, what I found was, because this is quite stiff anyway, you never have to lock the head rotational. So what I found was to remove the screw, and then you can then tilt the head up and down, and as you can see there, it goes all the way up. Okay, so if I just, there's just certain things that's in the way, but as you can see, it can go all the way down like that, almost 90 degrees. It's not perfect, but it's literally almost there. So you've got a good amount of tilt there, which is quite good. So that's the design flaw I've noticed here. The other flaw is, I've noticed, if I put weight on there, I've noticed that the head has a tendency to unscrew. Now at the moment, if you rotate it several times, you'll probably find that this head will unscrew. And what happens is, if it's not tight, it will just unravel, it'll go free and unravel, and what you see is at the bottom it starts to unscrew. So what we're going to do is we're going to do this quick fix. So we're going to unscrew the pan tilt, and as you can see, we're doing this to prevent the setup from falling. Now as you can see, it's just a screw. That's all it is. At the bottom you see there's the head, and that's all it screws into. So it's a bit of preventive maintenance, but it's also to prevent the disaster. So I've got a bit of Loctite using a bit of thread lock, and I'm going to just put a little bit on there along the threads. So that thread lock will then start to set. And all we do to fix the problem, we screw it back on onto like so. We're just going to keep going back in there. Okay, so we're going to tighten her up like so. Right, so what we'll do is now we're going to let that set. Okay, this thread lock will not come undone. Already it's starting to form now, it's already starting to bond, but we'll give it about half an hour for the thread lock to set. Once that's done, hopefully that will prevent this pan tilt head from coming off from the tripod. Alright, so if you've got that problem, get yourself a bit of Loctite or thread lock adhesive and cure that first. So now the thread lock has now bonded onto the tripod, and as you can see, I can rotate the head now, and this part is not coming off. Okay, now as you can see, it's very strong ABS plastic. Now do not put that off, because ABS plastic is quite rigid, okay, and this is really rigid. Now as you can see here, there's a lock screw to lock the position from the latitude. Okay, so whatever you're tilting the head, this lock will lock in that position. Now as we rotate it round, so as you can see here, you've got a spirit bubble level, which you've got a spirit bubble level here, which tells you the position of how level the tripod is. To be honest with you, I don't really use it, I'm not really too fussed, but it's a nice little feature there. The other one has got a really good locking mechanism. Now as you can see here, this is like a little dovetail plate with a 1/4 thread, which you can mount your camera or telescope and all that in there. Alright, this is the plate will mount on there, and as you can see there, it's a big chunk of plastic. I mean really heavy duty plastic, and it clamps really good on there. Okay, as you can see there, nice and rigid. So it clamps there really good, and it can also be interchanged this way as well. Okay, it doesn't sit properly as such, but this clip here is under spring tension. So as you can see here, there's a spring tension in there, so it always provides some tension. So as you put the dovetail back in, okay, that's locked in place, that's going nowhere. Here's the pan tilt. Now this pan tilt, this handle here is really good to move the binoculars or telescope up and down, left and right. This is really good, particularly like if you want to look at the International Space Station, you want to track the target all the way across the sky, and this pan tilt will enable you to move the binoculars or telescope effortlessly, okay? Provided the lock screws and all that are all removed, you know, you can quite easily track the International Space Station quite easily. Also, along this feature there's a lock screw on it, and with this you can actually tilt the handle, right, at different angles. Alright, so if you say like you've got binoculars mounted here, you can mount the handle downwards so you can able to look through the eyepiece of the binoculars without this going in the way of your face. But I like how you can tilt it round, lock it in position, alright, and then you can move it across that way. Okay, very sturdy, okay, and this will hold a lot of weight, okay, 3 kilograms optimum, and you can push it to 5 kilograms, but to be honest with you, 5 kilograms might be a bit pushing this tripod. But apart from that, for a medium use tripod, it is pretty good, alright, and the head is very rigid, okay, right, this is very rigid, right, and then that's what you want, support, sturdiness, and what that's going to do, it's going to help you see the objects in the night sky better, okay, because you've got a sturdy mount. Now the good thing about this tripod, it comes with a nice smart case like that, and the case is very compact. You can put the whole setup in there quite easily, alright, providing the handles all folded up, you can put the whole tripod in there. Alright, nice little zip there. Right, so this nylon case, as you see, really small, little setup, good for portability. Also, I do like how there's a good instruction manual. Alright, pretty basic, it gives you the basic general views and uses of the tripod itself. Alright, it's a good manual, but again, we've covered a lot of the features in there that's stated in the manual. So if you ever want to mount your binoculars on the tripod, there's one thing you need to highlight, is every binocular has an adapter. Now as you can see here, if we remove that cap here, there's like some sort of 1/4 or 3/8 screw that's on the binocular. Now what this part does is enables us to attach a binocular adapter. Now here's a binocular adapter. This has a 1/4 thread either way, alright, and what this enables us is to mount your binoculars onto the tripod, and it's quite easy. You can pick these up for probably £5, maybe £10. Okay, they're very cheap. Get yourself ideally ones that are metal. Alright, metal ones are a lot more sturdier and stronger, and they will hold a lot of weight. And again, all it does is just screws onto that thread like so. Alright, and it just clamps there. Okay, so you just clamp it on there, and then this part here, if we remove this other screw, alright, we're gonna mount this onto the tripod. Right, so this will go on the tripod 1/4 thread like so. Alright, and that's how you mount your binoculars, but you need this part if you're going to mount binoculars onto the tripod. So I'll just provide some description below to highlight to purchase one of these items. However, there is one item I do like to share, and I found it out through another astronomy retailer. Now this is from 365 Astronomy. Now what this item is this is an adapter. Now this is a smartphone adapter, which is a piggyback adapter, and it comes with the L-shaped bracket to mount your binoculars. So what this does, it comes in 3 versions. It allows you to attach a smartphone to either a telescope or DSLR or binoculars. And what this adapter can can be attached onto the binocular adapter, which is here. Alright, and it will attach it to the standard 1/4 vinyl thread. Now, again, you must check out the retailer first, because some of the threads do not fit this item. So if you've got observation binoculars, alright, which have a vertical adaptation, those are not compatible on there, and a lot of observation binoculars do, then this item will not fit. However, for most standard binoculars which are usually that kind of fit, if you've got that kind of fit on your binoculars, then this adapter will work. Now the adapter weighs around about 220 grams, which is quite lightweight, and it can hold. It's made of aluminium steel, and it has high tension foam as well on there. Okay, it's also got a warranty of 1 year, believe it or not. It's got a year warranty, and the price is £29.90. Now, what this adapter not only attaches your binocular onto your tripod, but you can actually mount your smartphone as well. And what this will do, it'll enable to attach a smartphone minimum width of around 57 to 59 millimeters, or maximum width of 90 to 95. So as long as you've got a phone dimension, okay, you can fit big phones on there. Alright, big smartphones, iPhones, a lot. Now, if you've not seen my video, I've done the push to go to series, where I've made adapters. I've adapted a smartphone with a telescope. Please check out the link at the top. I actually done a video on using a app called Sky Eye. And again, what this setup will do, will enable to attach your binoculars onto a tripod, but also attach a mobile phone. And what you do is you use that mobile phone to use it as like a all sky app, which enable you to point the telescope or binoculars in the night sky in a certain position. Here it allows you sort of like navigate you around the stars, so you can spot out objects in the night sky. So we'll show you how this attaches. So far the build quality is quite good for the price, but again, this is only optional, right? If you're on limited budget, then this is optional. You don't need to have this item again, but the necessity is you must have an L-shaped bracket if you want to mount any binoculars on a tripod, right? An L-shaped bracket like that is a must. All the links are provided below. All right, please check out the description. All right, there's a link for this item, but this will be an awesome upgrade to any starter setup. To do that, we'll get the L-shaped bracket issued with the smartphone adapter. We just take off the dovetail, and we're going to line it up on there like so along the threads. Here there is a lock screw, all right, where you rotate it to lock it in place. Now with this adapter, the L-shaped bracket's a bit stiff, so the threads will screw in, all right, like so. They will screw in, but they're a bit on the tight side, but they will screw in. But I think it's the paint on the L-shaped bracket that's doing this. So what you do is you screw it in like so, lock it in place so you can't turn the L-shaped bracket. So that's that done. You then put the clip on like so, and then clip the bracket. Okay, that is now the bracket in place. Okay, we then grab the binocular, locate the hole on the L-shaped bracket. We then get our smartphone adapter. is with this adapter, it has a lock screw ball lock. So you loosen this knob, rotate it to 90 degrees. Once at 90 degrees, you lock that in place like so. So it's literally on a horizontal or vertical position. You then grab your binoculars, line up the hole, and then screw in the smartphone adapter. So you screw it in, all the way in, like so, so you can no longer turn it, and there you go. You then, where the lock screw is there, release it, rotate it round, locate it so that it locks. If you see here, see there's a little alignment hole there. There's a little alignment hole just there. You locate the ball and lock it in place like so. So now you'll have your smartphone adapter in place. And again, you get your mobile phone. Now what I found is, if you've got a cover, remove the cover, because the adapter does not fit very easily with the smartphone. So you've got to remove the protective cover, I'm afraid. Then what you do is then, with your phone, you then activate Sky Eye. Okay, so there's my Sky Eye app. Okay, and it's now set. So I've got my Sky Eye, and then all you do is then you place your mobile phone here's the lock screw here. Slacken that out, slide in your smartphone like so, and then clamp it in position. You now have your smartphone and your binoculars mounted on your camera tripod. So now what you have is you have now the go-to budget binocular setup. Okay, so as you can see with this app, again, please check out the video at the top. I'll show you how to set this up. Now this is not 100%, but it will give you a rough indication of where the objects are in the night sky, and you can set it up to find objects and use that app to take you through the night sky. Alright, now the next item I'm going to show you is this. Now this is a Sony NEX or Sony Alpha 6400 camera adapter. Now this will enable you to attach your DSLR camera or attach a mirrorless camera onto a spotting scope. Now you can see where I've just taped up. It's a bit of a bodge, however it's just to cover the gaps, because this is designed to attach onto spotting scopes. If you're interested in this item, there is the link below for that, but it costs around about 20 to about £30. They're not much money. Alright, and all this does, you attach it onto your camera body here, alright, and you can attach this setup onto your telescope. Now what I've done here is for me to enable to take you through my guided tour of the night sky through the set of binoculars. I had to literally destroy another camera adapter. It has a T2 thread there, alright, and I've created some thumb screws. And again, I've worked out the gap for it to achieve focus between the camera sensor and the eyepiece. And again, I cannot give you the exact sizes because some of the sizes varies dramatically on every binocular. Okay, and all this does is it screws into position. So my camera's mounted on there, alright, and it'll attach into the position of the rubber eye cup of the binocular. So as I screw that back in, like so, it pushes in, I'll lock the screws in there, alright, and that's the adapter. Now this process is eyepiece projection, alright, so it's a form of digiscoping. I have no idea why my camera, my Sony, has to have a focus distance this far, alright, but I'm guessing if I was using a Canon DSLR, maybe the focus travel should be a lot inwards, like so. But what I found that this is around about a good 4" away from the rubber eye cup. But again, I don't know why that is. I achieve focus that way. But again, this will not work. Alright, I'm not guaranteeing you that this method is going to work out for your set of binoculars, because every binocular works very differently. So with the rubber eye cup, I get a really small flat point, and again, not all binoculars have this, alright, and the only way I'm going to achieve prime focus is to remove this rubber eye cup. So there's tiny little screws that are removed, and then I just pop that out. In here there is the eyepiece. Alright, we're going to remove that eyepiece. And again, to remove that, there's a tiny screw here. And again, what we do is we just remove it like so. And then, in fact, there's another. Again, not all binoculars have that ability. And again, I'm just going to remove each of these screws. So there's 3 of them. I don't know if they're collimated, alright, but I don't reckon they are. But then this should pop out the eyepiece. But not all binoculars have it. Some are sealed, some are not. But this is the reason why I won't recommend doing it. And then what that does, I remove the eyepiece like so. We then get the adapter. And the thing is, because we're now using prime focus, we can remove this part as well. I mean, there's no clamping screws there, but here I get the other one, and I screw that back in there like so, and then with that I can then fit this over and then clamp it in. But again, the adaptation is not, it will go into focus, but that's the only way I can get this into prime focus. And again, this is not guaranteed that this is going to work for your setup, which is probably needed if I want to take pictures of deep sky objects. So at the moment my adapter is not really that great at the moment, but this will achieve focus with my Sony mirrorless camera. Again, I'm not going to provide the sizes because every camera, every binocular is different, but it works for this type of setup. However, if you want to do this method and you want to take pictures for your binoculars, prime focus might not work, but the other process will work. But the problem with the other process is that the eyepiece, if you're imaging through the eyepiece, will not be as sharp or crisp or brighter compared to prime focus. So that's the method of adaptation, alright? But again, you have to do a lot of things to strip this apart just to attach your DSLR camera or mirrorless camera on there. But if it works for you, give it a try. But please, if you've got a brand new set of binoculars, please don't do this, because all that's doing is it's going to invalidate your warranty, and you may damage your binoculars in the process. So whatever you do, or you don't have to do this, but please be warned. Now I'm using this setup so I can take you through my dark guided tour through the night sky. This is the only way I can show to you guys and girls on what I'm actually seeing through the binocular. So even though it's going through one binocular, it will give you the appearance that you are looking at in one eye anyway. So this is my adaptation. It's not 100%, I need to modify it in a way so it does fit on there if you want to do prime focus. So as you can see there, the metal spikes dig right into the soil really good on this mount, on this tripod, and it secures and helps the setup much more rigid. And already, I mean, it's looking impressive so far, and I must admit it is rock steady. It's a lot better. Now top tip with this, I know this strap might not cause hindrance, but any wind might affect your view, so it's probably a good idea to remove the strap, okay? Or alternatively, you could just wrap it around like so and do it that way. Okay, so it's out of the way. So now you've got a nice little setup there, and the moon is up, which is a good sign. Alright, so then we've got the setup, we've got our adapter ready to go. I will attach the camera adapter and that camera onto these binoculars, and we're going to give you a guided tour tonight, without fail, show you what this setup can do. Alright, and already this is a rock solid setup, alright, for the money. Now I'm really excited about this because this is the first time I've actually ever done anything like this, but I'm really looking forward to get this rolling, because so far I'm impressed with this tripod, how sturdy it is, even with the maximum extension here. Alright, we've got decent amount of elevation there, alright, and this setup is just way better. I've had a lot of tripods over the years and I've not had anything like this before, and this is going to be absolutely truly amazing. So we'll wait until it gets clear, and hopefully when it gets dark, wish me luck, and I'm going to take you through my journey through this setup. So let's do this. So we've got the moon and we've got it focused onto there's my binocular set up, and there's the binoculars. Now this is directly through the binocular eye cups, Alright, my adapter, I'm covering this because if I don't, this is only a temporary fix because of this design. It turns it green. Alright, so I have to cover this bit just to make sure that you get a decent view. But as you can see there, we've got a zoomed in variant through the eyepiece. However, this is not ideal because you don't get a sharp view, alright, of the moon, but you do get a bigger moon shot like that, very focused moon shot like that. But it does work, it does go and achieve focus, but ideally I want to remove the eye lens inside there, alright, and that's what I've been doing. Alright, I've removed it so I can achieve focus and then get a much decent result. But as you can see there, we've got some good detail there. If I pan this across, now again, you could do this project yourself, but again, it is tricky to make this adapter, and I can't recommend that it's going to work for every binocular. Alright, but this works really well, and you can see the moon and Mars just above there, but it does work through the rubber eye cups. Alright, but you just get limited results. The image is not so great, but you can just make out a lot of the detail on the moon, and you can just make out the moon craters and the valleys and all that, but it's not a decent shot through the eyepiece. Okay, so you can do it with this adapter. Right, this adapter fits okay, but again, it can be cumbersome. Alright, that's why I don't recommend it, because again, this might not work out for you. Alright, this might be a little different for every pair of binoculars, but for this binocular to work for me, I have to remove the actual eyepiece itself, and then adapt it that way. Alright, and then that's where I can start to achieve focus. Alright, but it does work on the system, and again, it does give a bit of a Barlow image, and you do get a bigger image scale there, but the view is not so sharp. Instead of just taking out the eyepiece from there, and then you get a much more sharper image. Even though the image is a lot smaller, but it's a lot wide field, but it's great if you've got that eyepiece rubber cup and the lenses out, you can achieve prime focus imaging. But through the eyepiece you can get good results. It's not the best image, but you can achieve it through this adapter. Now, as you can see here, we've got a lovely image of the moon, and again, live recorded, and as you can see there, really crisp view through the pair of binoculars. It's such a joy to see the almost gibbous face. Alright, it's just over the half, it's just coming to the gibbous face at the moment, but as you can see here, you can start to see some of the major craters at the bottom of that disc on the moon. Alright, you can see the seas and the valleys, but an array of craters on there. And again, even with low power such as 10 magnification, you can see some of that detail there. But look at the view I've got from there, nice and crisp. Alright, such a wondrous target. Alright, and again, if you've got a set of binoculars, highly recommend, before you start looking at anything, is to just look at the moon first and start to see some amazing detail. Oh wow, as we can see with these normal binoculars, these 10x50s, I can clearly see Jupiter and its little moons, and you can see Saturn in the fog in the furthest part as well, right on the left hand side of Jupiter. And as you can see, we're getting really close to the conjunction, and this is the best I can get so far, but you can clearly see the moons on Jupiter and Saturn. And through a pair of binoculars, this is impressive to see all of this detail in there. And not bad view, but don't expect to see a lot of planetary detail through a pair of binoculars, right? This is probably going to be the best you're going to see through them, but it's better than nothing. I mean, look at it, for how cheap the budget you can get for a setup like this, and you can see the moons on Jupiter and Saturn. This is really impressive stuff. Obviously it's not quite the conjunction yet. I'm waiting till the 21st of December, and already the clouds are moving in to ruin the shot of Jupiter and Saturn. But through the pair of binoculars on this tripod, you can get some amazing detail. Planets is not so great, but at least you can get something, and that's better than nothing. But remember, binoculars are going to deliver much better views than through a cheap trash telescope. Now, as you can see there, being much steady night, you can just see Mars now with a more prominent disk, and it's also casting a deep sort of like a reddish hue, alright, or reddish orange hue, and because it's quite high up in the air, alright, we've got a really good shot of Mars there. Alright, this is the best you're going to see of Mars through a pair of binoculars, but you can clearly see it as a disk, alright, not a star, and you can just define the colour as well on there, that deep little orange hue there. But that's the most you're going to see with a pair of binoculars. But just to see a planet through a pair of binoculars is quite outstanding. Alright, don't expect to see tons of detail like the polar ice caps or the deep dark regions on the surface. Alright, you're not going to see that, but you will see the disk like this. It's a steady night as well. You won't make out any of the moons because they're really dim, alright, and you'll need much larger telescopes. And again, if you want to see Mars in a lot of detail, then I highly recommend that if you want to look at the surface detail, then you need a bigger telescope, alright, and we're talking probably a 4-inch all the way up to about 14-inch of aperture, alright, to get that kind of detail. Alright, with a pair of binoculars you're not going to see much with them, plus you need a lot of high magnification, and that's why a lot of the planets, particularly like this is not a very easy planet to image even with large telescopes. And believe me, if you haven't seen the image of Mars, please check out my video on the Skywatcher Maxitoff that I recently reviewed, which is the Planet Killer. Again, please check out that video, and you'll see Mars in its true form with the huge amount of detail in there. Alright, it's unbelievable. But for a pair of binoculars, this is such a joy to use. A little setup, basic setup, and get something so budget and still get good views. Okay. Now we're doing a live shot of Pleiades M45, the open star cluster. And as you can see through a pair of binoculars, you can see a huge amount of stars around that region. Alright, you can see the 7 brighter sisters. Alright, through binoculars it's absolutely breathtaking. And don't forget, this is a recorded view of Pleiades. Right, this is not a long exposure, but this is exactly what you will see through for your own eyes. And I mean, come on, I mean, look at it, I mean, through the camera, and it's delivering views like this. You can just see how bright the stars are. They actually give out a hint of blue. Alright, it's absolutely spectacular to be able to see Pleiades in such wide field of view through a pair of binoculars. It's absolutely breathtaking. Oh wow, as you can see here, we've got a windy night. The mount is playing ball, but as you can see, we've got a live shot of the M42, which is the Great Orion Nebula. Now, as you see with a pair of binoculars, you can just see the dark regions and the trapezium star formations in the centre of the nebula. What a fantastic amount of detail there. I mean, for a pair of binoculars, this is exactly what you'll see. It really is amazing through the camera. Now, I'm using ISO 20,000. I can up to increase the gain, but I don't want to put too much, because the whole idea of taking a live image is to imitate what you exactly see as if you're looking through a pair of binoculars, just through the eyepieces. Okay, I mean, that itself is a very impressive image. Alright, and that's exactly what you'll see on a good clear night, ideally a moonless night, because this is where images, deep sky objects, you'll get the benefit on moonless nights. Right, so when you're observing anything as dim as this, ideally on a moonless night, this is where you start to see nebulosity. These ones are called faint fuzzies. Alright, and this is really is impressive. Right, I'm using the high ISO light just to imitate what you can see, and through that image there, through the set of binoculars, 10x50s, you're getting a huge amount of detail through this impressive image. So if I just pan this across, because obviously it's drifting across, because so obviously we the Earth's rotation. So we pan it across. That is amazing. The wind is not playing ball at the moment because it's extremely windy, but that is a good image of what you can see through a pair of binoculars. Oh wow. Now we just pointed the binoculars at a very faint object, but it's quite visible, and this is a live view using the exposure of 1/4 and ISO 2500, which is very high ISO. But as you can see there in the middle, you can just see Andromeda Galaxy, and you can see the center core. All right, this is the only thing you can see when you're looking at this very dim object. It's quite a bright object. It's quite faint, but as you can see there, you can clearly just see some of the faint wisp of the structure of the galaxy. It is a large galaxy, and as you can see there, it's quite impressive to get this kind of image through a live view. So as you can see there, a set of binoculars will reveal a lot of detail. You know, despite the aperture, you can see galaxies through such small equipment. And to that matter, because tonight's not so windy, the mount, the tripod, is handling a lot better than it was 2 days ago. All right, 2 days ago it was almost impossible. I couldn't get anything. All right, and again, not so clear night because the moon's up. If the moon was not around, then this object will appear a lot brighter, and you'll start to see more of the structure as well on there. But this is not bad, right, to see a live view of Andromeda Galaxy, and this is pretty impressive result. All right, one of the brightest galaxies you can see, even with the naked eye. But for a pair of binoculars, you can just see the center core, a little bit of the structure, but that's all you can make out. Now on darker nights, you probably see a lot more detail in there. All right, and you'll start to see a lot more of the structure as well. Well, what do you reckon, guys and girls? Truly awesome, and what an amazing result, these binoculars, and they do deliver amazing views, right? £70 or less for the whole setup like this. You're guaranteed to get the best possible views, and I can guarantee you that. Alright, what you've just seen there is real evidence to show to you guys and girls what you can see with a budget 10x50s can deliver. They're all the perfect binocular for astronomy, and the good thing is they're very cheap, quite available. There's a wider range of these brands. All right, you can go for the more expensive ones, but to be honest with you, they are still going to be a lot more superior image quality compared to a cheap trash telescope, where you probably spend, oh yeah, £30 or £20 for a cheap trash telescope. Personally, set yourself a budget, £70 or below. If that's your extreme budget, then seriously, a whole setup like this is more than adequate for astronomy. And again, if you want some of these attachments that I've just shown you, or the tripod, these are optional. The only reason why I've picked the tripod and the adapter, so that you can find objects yourself. And again, all it is, it acts like your optical system as a push to go to. So wherever the smartphone tells you where to point, where it's pointing in the night sky, as long as you've got that sky app properly set up and you've got your smartphone adjusted. And again, if you've not seen that video, please check out that link at the top for that video. Alright, I show you how to set the Sky Eye app with your telescope or binoculars. Good thing about binoculars, they've got a wide field of view as well, so you're going to have loads of objects into view. So that pointing planetarian app will work very well with this setup. And you can find a lot of things in the night sky. And believe me, the first things I would suggest is look at the moon first, start off with some nice bright objects first, and if you've got that sky app, start finding Great Orion Nebula, the Pleiades, Andromeda Galaxy. All those images were taken from these set pair of binoculars, and I'm absolutely amazed what these can deliver. Don't get me wrong, they were timed exposures, but the timed exposures do reveal a lot more detail, but you're only restricted to about a second or maybe 2.5 seconds if you're lucky, because what happens, as this is not a tracking mount, the Earth will rotate and you'll get star trailing and it's ruined straight away. So 2.5 seconds is a pretty big deal with a setup like this, and you can take some good astrophotography shots with this setup, but personally I wouldn't recommend it, because due to the nature of this kit, it's only basic equipment. Alright, it's not going to show you the wow factor of some of the images. However, for visual purposes, this setup, you'll see amazing detail for not much money. And if you've got any kids or yourself that are really interested in astronomy and the budget is a real concern, then this setup is ideally suited for your needs. And believe me, this will go a long way. This will last a lifetime. You've got a good tripod of reasonable quality. I won't say it's absolutely perfect. It does have some flaws, but it's going to be better than the issue tripods that you get with trash telescopes, which are no good for no purposes. Alright, they'll dance around, your mount will be too wobbly. You won't see anything out of it. With a good sturdy tripod like this, you will see a lot of some fantastic objects in the night sky with a decent tripod. And the good thing about this tripod, you can alternatively mount other telescopes on there if you wish. As long as if they have a 1/4 thread, you can attach attachments onto this tripod, and you can use either a spotting scope or a dedicated astronomical telescope. Alright, they can also be mounted, but bear in mind you've got the payload. 3 kilograms is optimum. If you can reach up to 5 kilograms if you wish on this mount, but then you're really pushing the limits. Alright, so as you see through, as I was using this setup, I was using the tripod even in really strong winds, at 20 mile an hour strong winds, and the tripod, okay, it danced about a bit, but it coped. You have it with a cheap trash telescope, no chance. If you're going to see anything in the night sky with that, not a chance. And believe me, tripod is the key if you want to see more. But apart from that, it's a good tripod. I do rate it at 3 stars, despite with the slight flaws on there. However, the 3 stars, it's not bad. It's not a bad tripod for the price. However, I could have gone for the next model up, which is probably a lot more sturdier, but the price is a lot more. And I want to achieve a setup for £70 or under. Alright, and again, you don't have to purchase the tripod, and you don't need to purchase the adapter. You can just buy the set of binoculars itself and use that to stargaze using star maps, and again it'll be even a lot less. But £70 for a whole setup like this, you can go a long way. And again, the whole purpose of this video is also not also to show you what you can see, but also to let you guys and girls do not be disappointed, because the first reaction, and I've had this myself when I was the first time in astronomy, I was expecting to see astro images like these, okay, looking at through magazines or books or on the internet and looking at other people's images and saying, wow, can I see this kind of level of detail through these? And to be honest with you, not a chance. Alright, your eye has a limited amount of light that it can only absorb. These needed a lot of time, exposures to start to see the details through the camera. Alright, the camera can see that, but your eyes cannot. So the whole idea was, that example was to show to you guys and girls that don't expect your height expectations to be quite high. Like say, looking at Andromeda Galaxy, where you're just seeing just a faint fuzzy, is enough to sort of make you wonder and say, wow, that light has reached 2.2 billion light years to reach us from Earth. If you've got that mentality and your expectations is like, well, if I'm looking at something, it's going to be faint, but you appreciate it more when you soon realize that you're looking at very faint light in another part of the universe. And that's what I'm trying to get. This, don't expect to see this through a set of binoculars. And as you've seen that video, I proved to you guys and girls on what you can see. But again, I'm not going to be biased and mislead you guys and girls. You're not going to see these unless you buy a bigger telescope with an expensive camera mount, and most of all, an expensive mount that can track against the Earth's rotation. Alright, that's where you can only achieve this kind of level of detail. With a set of binoculars like these are perfect for visual use only, is my recommendation. You can take images if you wish, but I'm guarantee you now, not all binoculars are the same, okay? Some can, some can't. And that's the reason why I've not provided any sizes and measurements of my adapter, because like I say, don't be disappointed, because if you do make an adapter and you think you can get focus, you may be disappointed. I'm just being a little bit lucky that I could modify these set of binoculars and I managed to get an image through my mirrorless camera. Alright, which, don't get me wrong, the Sony is a very high-tech camera. The Sony A6400 is a very good camera, but it's also a very expensive camera. But the thing is, it has got a higher ISO rating, which means I can do live images, boost that ISO rating. It will be pixelated, but the thing is, at least you can see what you can see, just make out. Not all cameras are sensitive enough to do that. So, like you see in those live videos, those are exactly what you see. Faint fuzzies or little blobs of light, and that is it. But do not expect to see this kind of detail, because no way, that is not going to happen, and I guarantee you that. So if you like the thrill of the hunt, these set of binoculars will help you locate the objects. You can use the Sky app, the Sky Eye app and the smartphone adapter, and it will take you on a tour. Alright, you can point to the night sky and look at certain things, alright, and it will show you a lot of things. So in a way, this setup is like a push to go to. As long as you've got the alignment and the setup nice and set up, and you've got a sturdy mount with a decent set of budget binoculars like these, you can see loads and loads of objects in the night sky. And believe me, you'll probably see a lot more with these than the cheap trash like this. Please avoid this like the plague. Believe me, people have fallen on their feet, wasted tons of money on rubbish. This is rubbish, this is good. And that is what I'm trying to say to you guys and girls. Extreme budget goes a long way. You can buy decent amount of equipment for £70 or under. This, however, is trash. That's all it is. It's the dust collector and it's complete trash. This will serve a lifetime if looked after. Please use this video to help you guys and girls out. Also protect yourself this Christmas and the New Year, because the trash out there will be out there for you guys and girls. Do not fall into that trap, because believe me, it's out there. And when you find out what kind of level of detail you see from these, you will have a different opinion. Alright, binoculars are absolutely key if you're wanting to see decent views. And believe me, if you want a telescope, then you really need to up your budget. Alright, because telescopes are expensive. These are within a lot of people's budget. So, if you like watching my video, please hit the like button. And again, if you're not subscribed to my channel, so please subscribe. Also, share this video out. This will help you. It will help many others who are in the same situation, okay, that probably have not seen this out. But please share it. Please push this video out more. So, thanks again. Thanks for watching. Please remember, stay safe, and also, most of all, stay safe. I wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and please look forward to another video from me. So watch this space, and thanks again, and I wish you all clear skies.